for all our panel who are seated already. Please, a louder one, a louder one. It's very important that we have all these people here, and I mean, it took time for us to get them because they are very busy people. And for this morning that they are gathered here, it's just that we are privileged and a pleasure to have all of them. Richie Mensah, CEO, Links Entertainment; Elizabeth Intiamo Akwashi, General Manager of Boomplay Ghana; as well as Rudy Kwachi, CEO, Rave Group and founder of Muse Media Networks; and Mr. Victor Banaman Shedid, who is the principal consultant for OWL Ventures. Now, gentlemen and lady, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So, do you have your mics?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, no worry. Don't worry. So, I'll first take your initial remarks of this conference. I mean, this is the maiden one we're doing. So, let's just take your initial remarks, starting with you, Rudy.
I'd say that this is long in coming, and I would want to actually commend Boomplay and 3 Entertainment for coming together with such a partnership, because we cannot have enough education and enough conversation when it comes to that. And the thing is people need to realize that entertainment is an economic venture. It's not fun. And these conversations are the ones that sets the tone for us to realize the value of entertainment. Because every other thing gets talked about except the one that everybody thinks is just going out and, partying. So kudos to Boomplay and 3 Entertainment and the whole Media General team for actually putting this together.
Thank you so much, Rudy. Victor, let's hear from you.
Just like Rudy said, I think it's an important conversation to be having. This is a great platform. When I look at the audience, I think we're a little skewed on, on the performance side of things. But it would be really good, perhaps in subsequent editions, to have people who come from, let's call it the infrastructure or, the foundational basis by which this business is able to thrive. And even other parts of the commercial space. If you think about it, I know Rudy because of my life in mobile telephony, right, in the telco space. And at the heart of the entertainment space is the ability for people to hear about it, and that comes with the strategic partnerships, that come along with it, the sponsorships and the like. So it'd be good to have some of those kinds of people in this room, so the expectations from the artists, from the industry, can also be made aware, because I feel like I'm in a very interesting sort of minority position, especially after being out of the space for a while. But it's an important conversation to have, and it's always good to start something. And so I look forward to the next editions.
Right. Thank you so much, Victor. Lisa, let's hear from you.
So same thing as Rudy said. Actually, before I even got into like the full music business thing, I was mainly on the artist manager side, and I wasn't really a fan of going for these educational conferences. I would probably say, every time, we keep saying this every time. Then I got into the music side, the business side of like fully. Then I noticed that people actually do need the education, regardless of how many times you've read or how many times you've been to a certain conference. So this is actually very important for my brand, Boomplay, and it falls exactly in line with some of the things that we are supposed to do, and basically makes my work easier if everybody has the understanding. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lisa. The man, Richie, 15 years of being in the game. You celebrated a few weeks ago. What do you make of the conference as well?
It's a beautiful concept, and one thing that the whole world agrees on is education is fundamental. But the thing that they forget sometimes is it's not only formal education. Like platforms like this, conversations, can sometimes even build careers and make industry stronger than even having to go to school for it. So whenever I see these kind of things, I'm so excited because Ghana is in a position where we are behind when it comes to having information, knowing how the industry works. And when you think about the entertainment industry, people always think about the those.
The fun part of it.
Thank
the
you.
Party part.
The artists. Yes, the artists, the actors, they only think about that part. They forget there's a real business side to it that makes everything happen. You don't have the global artists in the world making millions and turning that into billions because they sang a song. You have that because the business part made sure the song that they sang is making the millions and the billions.
That's right. The million and the billion, and the reason why we are gathered here is to educate ourselves more on that. I'll start with you, Victor, about because you have that expertise in the era of digital. So let's look at it from there. What is the link between the digital landscape and arts and entertainment? You just have about, let's say, 2 minutes to do that for us. We don't have too much time, so we would have to work with it, all right?
No,
From your experience.
The good thing is that I think Paul really nicely outlined earlier, if you remember his presentation. It was a great presentation that outlined exactly the trajectory of how we've gotten into this space. Clearly, the easiest way for you to reach the multitudes these days, right, not just in Ghana, globally, is through the internet, right? And the internet runs on a whole bunch of systems that connect people everywhere, right? I'm always amused that I think these days at most events, whether they're conferences, shows, church events, people aren't falling asleep as much, right? Why? Because instead of sleeping, we're all on our phones, right? And really, that's the equalizer in this space. That's the driver of digital, is mobile, right? 92% of all internet activity happens on mobile in this part of the world. It's incredible, right? I mean, in Ghana, you still have less than 100,000 fixed lines. Okay, I actually don't know what the actual figure is right now in terms of fixed broadband connections. But really, I think one stat that I'd like to put out there, because then that forces you as consumers and users of these platforms to demand better, is this. Between 2020 and 2021, the speed of internet on broadband in Ghana increased by about 48%. Phenomenal, right? But that didn't impact most people. Where it counted the most on mobile phones, right, with 4G and everything, it actually went down by 24%, which means that when Paul's talking about uninterrupted streaming, right, uninterrupted access to music, which is part of the experience behind it, which is what the infrastructure should be allowing to happen, it's not happening that way. And that's something that needs to be addressed pretty quickly. I mean, given my time limit, I really want to talk about that, right? Because at the end of the day, if the connectivity isn't working, if it's not accessible, if it's not affordable, right, then we're already playing a losing game, right? We have the numbers. The numbers might be a little skewed because they count those of us that have 4 or 5 connections as 5 individuals. But still, in Western Africa, the story is much better than most places in sub-Saharan Africa. We're much better off in Eastern Africa. We're much better off than Central Africa. South Africa has it on us a little bit. North Africa has it on us a little bit. But what we have going in this part of the world is our aspirational nature. The fact that we want to grow, we want to be better, and nothing holds us back. So I think when you look at the fact that we have the infrastructure in place, a couple of things have to be lined up. Government has to step in and start asking themselves, is it fair to ask for the kinds of money that they're asking for licenses, which prevents people to enter the space? Let's not even talk about whether they're indigenous or foreign players. I can only imagine how much a 5G license is going to cost in this country, given what the cost of 4G was, right? it's astronomical. So they have to play their part. The other part now comes down to, your telco operators who, yes, they might be making money, but they're running huge operations that need a lot of maintenance and physical infrastructure. So it actually has to start from the government, move on to the telcos. And then you have players like Techno, the mother company of Boomplay, who I have to say, in all fairness, they've done a great job.
Fantastic.
The reality is, Boomplay exists today because they used cheaper handsets, right, which were still of pretty good quality, to push a pretty solid product. I remember the earlier iterations of some of the things that they were pushing on there, which were not much to write home about. But the team has literally grown its capability in terms of delivering services on there, and I think they deserve a round of applause.
That's right. Thank you. It was brief, but I think quite insightful, what we've seen from government to telco, the infrastructure, and the key notable players who have to help to make the digital landscape and what we're doing at Arts Entertainment connect very well. But Rudy, let me find out from you your experience. You have been here for a very long time, and so you have seen no, not Methuselah, a very long time, if not 25 years. But you have been with live entertainment concepts. You've done a lot of events. You've seen the era from when it started till it's gotten to this point. You are the CEO of Rave Group and Muse Media. How are we adapting to the change now when it comes to this whole ecosystem and, of course, the digital landscape?
I think, again, I'll pick a point from Victor's statement, which is we actually are doing pretty decent in our adoption of technology and driving that. It's exciting to see things. And I love to count the basics. So typically, if you look into the system, if I can't count, there's probably about 10, 12, 16 digital ticketing platforms available for events. That would allow you not to print, not to have issues with piracy. Okay, there's that. And then there's players in the marketplace like Boomplay who grant you access to massive trove of content. That, funny, the growth of Boomplay has actually marked the decline of things like GhanaMotion.com, where your music was being taken, it was being some way, somehow tagged and monetized. He has nothing to do with it, and it was traveling beyond. But now, somebody cuts you a check. And what you didn't realize was, at the back of it, GhanaMotion.com was actually making money. Because out there, outside of here, there's nothing that comes through that internet pipeline that somebody doesn't cut a check for. So, for me, our adoption of tech, of platforms like Boomplay, presence of things like ticketing platforms that allow for easy access to events, and even our general eventing, technology landscape that backs music. Like Richie literally presses music from the studio to publishing without ever having to leave the studio, which was previous, just a decade ago, he had to do that. He'll press CDs, he'll have to go to radio station to station, drop CDs to try and push it. No need. The same thing. You're pressing TV shows, movies straight to streamers without necessarily leaving the studio. And most importantly, your check is coming. Not through the mail, but it's coming. There's some type of check coming. So when I look at that, I think we are in such a space and the ceiling. And when you interrogate the numbers, and I hope that we make time to go into such. It's exciting, So we just, shameless plug, we just launched the tour first time with Morgan Heritage. That's going to 11 countries today, actually, just literally went live today. And the whole thing is being driven by, okay, we have to sell tickets on platforms, we have to give people cashless access. A number of countries that I thought had infrastructure pushed back and said, no, we can't do that here. Whereas it's almost becoming a commonplace in Ghana that you would have to buy a ticket through your mobile services. Like USSD still is not in certain countries. CRBT is still, we are done. Ghana's done with CRBT. Like, when was the last time you got a CRBT check? A chepa. Good. It's streaming. There's still countries in Africa where CRBT is the thing. So if you look at our development trajectory, we're in a very, very good place. And it shows even in general numbers. Ghana's MTN is a massive contributor in revenue to the group MTN as an OPCO. To such an extent that Ghana is being considered for a special status because they grew. And this is just Ghana, like 30 million people. You're not 90 million people in Ethiopia. They are not there, but that's my point. We have a regulatory framework. We've got a very, an open society. We've got growth, a team that is always looking to adapt to new things, or a market that's willing to accept new things. And that is exciting. I see my brother here who has a streaming radio service that goes global, and I tap into that. Not a lot of places has that. Not a lot of places.
Right. Thank you, Rudy. Put your hands together for Rudy and Victor so far. Liza, let me come to you. For the year 2020, we were struck hard by COVID. There were no events, nothing was happening, and we're all glued to internet, social media, and of course, platforms like yours. So, what have been your observations pre and post so far?
Okay, so the way app works or the brand works is we actually use consumer behavior to depict what somebody wants to listen to. We do playlists because we know people do not have enough time to sit down and make their own playlist. I mean, it's easy to make your own playlist, but we just do all of these things based on the way people behave on the app. So if somebody should drop a new song, instead of going to search for it, we'll probably put it on banner for you. So once you open your app, it's there. Then in 2020, when COVID hit, our numbers actually declined, even though we had people were mostly on their phones or at home and all of that. Before 2020, in 2019, we usually do like end of year recap, and then we noticed that people listen to songs the most when they're on their way to work or on their way back from work. Now we were all stuck at home. Nobody was going to work. Nobody was going to the gym where people will play their playlist or listen to music and all of that. When COVID hit, all this had to stop. Even though people were on their phones, using the internet, we were in competition with video content. So there was Netflix, then there was TikTok. So short videos and movies were mainly what people were enjoying. And if you were a family with children, you're pretty much giving your phone to your kids to watch something on YouTube or all of that. So it actually hit us real bad, but not as bad as it hit Rudy though, because there was no event at all. Yes, there was no event at all. Yeah, so we tried our possible best. Also, one other factor was artists were not dropping as quickly as they would. People had plans to drop their albums and all of that. Everything had to be shifted back because marketing includes you going out, maybe doing a listening session and all of that. So now people had to adopt certain strategies. You would have to do maybe a spaces, or you would have to just do a short video. Everybody pretty much became an influencer, right? So they were just concentrating on other things to keep them going. We also noticed that people started listening to like classic house, old songs, things they were already used to, and also very mellow type of songs. Also, there was news, so everybody wanted to know how many people have COVID at this point in time. Nobody was really concentrating very much on music. So that dropped the numbers. However, I wanted to say after COVID, but COVID is not really over, but the world is kind of getting back to normal. So the numbers are growing day by day, and still people have adopted short videos and all of that. And I see that that has also impacted how music is consumed now. Yeah.
Thank you, Liza. Thank you so much. Richie, like I said, you've been here for also some time. Not as long
Not
as
as much as Rudy.
not as long as Rudy though. But for 15 years for you, when you came out, you were a musician yourself, and then you transitioned. You became a producer, and from the days of Asem to Kiddy now, what has changed for you?
Oh, wow. That's a very big question. Everything has changed.
Right.
Like, one thing about our industry is they say technology is the fastest growing industry. It's not, it's entertainment. Because, first of all, entertainment is affected by every other industry, from technology to political to even agriculture can sometimes affect us. People aren't getting food to eat, or they don't want to listen to music. One thing about entertainment is every 3 months, it's almost as though the industry changes all over again. The one thing that has always helped links, so many people keep asking us what our strategy is, how we stay on top and this and that, and they think there's a template. There isn't a template. One thing that has helped us is we are always changing. You need to realize the industry keeps changing, and sometimes you even need to lead the change. I remember, let me talk about COVID a bit. When COVID hit, as you remember, we had albums planned. I know that year, that was the year that in the beginning of the year we're the most confident. Because what we did on 31st December.
For everybody. Everybody.
31st December 2019, we actually sat down and we structured releases for all our artists to the date. Structured their releases, their concerts, everything they were going to do to the exact dates. Normally, we used to structure to the quarter, but now we did to the date. And then COVID showed us that, my guy, when you are planning, cool down. But what happened is, we realized that, okay, the world has been hit by a massive storm. We either sit down and fade out or adapt. Like she mentioned, things that we thought were going to happen. We thought, okay, everybody's home, so our YouTube numbers will shoot up, our streaming numbers will go up. It didn't happen. Our YouTube numbers slowed down. We're like, you're home, why aren't you watching our videos? What's going on? We realized that we needed to do more things to drive them to actually, because people took it as a vacation. They took it as, oh, I'm finally home. I can watch those classic movies from 20 years ago that I never got the chance to watch because of work. They didn't have time to come and check out your new song. So we had to reinvent, find new ways of getting people to come to our stuff. So I think that that's one thing every industry player needs to understand. The industry does not stay the same for even 6 months. It's a miracle if something that worked 6 months ago is working today. Everybody that you see that's an industry leader, they're an industry leader because they are constantly adapting. The number of times I've met Lisa at an event, I've seen Boom Play coming up with a new strategy and everything. They are here because the Boom Play I knew 3 years ago is not the same Boom Play I know now. They're constantly sending us emails on this new strategy in the app. Now they've introduced this, introduced that. So if you sit back and think, oh, it's just automatic. I did this for my last single, so my next single, I'm going to do the same thing. It won't work. You have to adapt. You have to keep growing.
Certainly, we have to adapt. Please put your hands together for Richie Benz. I'm sure, like you said, a lot of people will be asking the question, how has Links Entertainment, survived the times? And they want the strategy, they want it. But you've just given us an insight to that. Thank you so much, Richie. Now, let me come back to you, Victor. Why is it important for individual artists or creative to have a proper sense of business and ethics, just right from the onset of their careers? Why? Because like I said in the promotion or the communication that we put out, every year we see hundreds of new talents coming out. Every year. every single year. Those who are in the Bono region and the northern region, we don't even hear of. But even Accra alone, we see a lot of them, even here at Adesawe. So why is it important? So important. Just give us a brief into that.
So let me step away from entertainment for a minute.
Okay, all right.
I mean, statistically, I think 90% of businesses that start will fail in the first 3 years, right? Actually, I think 40-something% of them don't even last 90 days. Am I right? I know a couple of people here who have the exact numbers. And like everybody else here said, behind every entertainment endeavor, behind every artist is machinery that makes you work. You are a business.
Show business.
Right? Show business. You are a business. And I think we live in times, right, that I think other than maybe pre-teens, everybody needs to understand business and how to do business correctly and properly, right? People are making millions of dollars just sitting behind, a cell phone, an adapted mic, a ring light, and telling you stuff on YouTube, right? That's a business. Understanding how that business works and how it pays you is key. Then you bring it back to entertainment, it's even more difficult because unlike a lot of businesses where, if I'm starting a business, I can go and look for a consultant to help me do this, I can go and look for someone to do this for me. You as an individual become the locus. You are everything, right? First of all, you are the founder, right? And then you are your own CEO. You are your own board of directors. Because even if you try and I'm sure that Jay-Z is a business. And when I say a business, there is a machinery behind him, right? This is why artists go and get managers, right? And one of them will have a business manager, they'll have a separate finance manager, and then they'll have a PR manager, and then they might be using consultants for other services as well. Unfortunately, when you start out, you don't have all of these things. But you live in times that something like YouTube exists, like Coursera exists, that you can literally just go out and educate yourself, right? One of the mantras that myself and my business partners live on now is learn, earn, grow. Or is it learn, grow, earn? I can't even remember which way it goes, but
there's a learn,
there's a learn, there's a grow, there's an earn.
Yeah.
But right, at the end of the day, you have to educate yourself. And we live in times that you literally have no excuse anymore. None whatsoever. So literally the only thing, and I'm saying literally too much, the only thing that's holding you back is you and your ability to buy a data bundle.
Which they do buy.
Yes.
For Insta.
For TikTok. For Snap.
For the Insta.
For Insta. For this. For that. If you just decide, right, like any good business should do, to apportion your time smartly, you can start on that level. Every day, I want to learn one new thing. Every day, I need to understand what it is that I'm doing and why I'm doing it, right? You start to build a plan, the same way a business does it. Why is ethics important? We can get into a philosophical conversation about this, right? Because you've heard, there are studies out that talk about how corrupt things are in this country in general. But I'll tell you what, I believe in manifesting destiny, right? And I believe in being grateful. And I think that whether you study from the Bible, the Quran, whatever, wherever you have these guiding light paths, the one thing that they tell you is that what you put out is what you get back, right? Every holy book out there says more or less the same thing. What you put out is what you get back. So you can be the nicest person, But if you're doing Kululu on the side, Kululu will come back to you. It might not be today, right? It might be 20 years from now. But one day, it comes back to you. And God forbid it happens to you when you think you've hit that high point.
All right, thank you so much, Victor. And certainly we will come back to you, panel. We're going for the break. When we come back, we're delving into another era, but still we will pick some topics and questions from the audience. Don't forget, so have your questions down, put them down. We'll have you time to ask the panel the questions. So we'll go for a break. Once again, thank you to Danilex Travel and Tour and 7 Energy Drink. We're back after this.
Thinking of coming to Ghana now or later? Wondering where and how to go about your stay while in Ghana? Have you heard and want to experience Ghana from her food to music to culture to heritage and to tourist sites? Danilex Travel and Tours is ready to hold you down. Danilex Travel and Tours is your ultimate travel partner right from the airport to wherever your destination may be. Danilex is well equipped to handle your travel needs and be your guide throughout your stay in Ghana. Connect with us on social media at Danilex_group or visit our website at www.danilexcompany.limited.com or call +233 744 431. The experience with Danilex Travel and Tours is always worth reliving. Try us. Danilex Travel and Tours, your ultimate travel partner.
Don't just wake up your child. Wake up the champion in them. Give them energy to help them win every day with Milo at breakfast. Let Milo with Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child. Milo. This advert is FDA approved.
Talent, they say, is born, not made. And we believe everyone is born with a talent. All you need is to tap into your God-given talent, practice it, and showcase it to the world. This week on GMB Got Talent, let's enhance your viewing pleasure with special talents in music, poetry, dance, and many more. Make a date with GMB Got Talent on TV3 this Sunday at 8 p.m. It's eviction this Sunday, and to keep your favorite in the competition, kindly dial *713*13# to vote or download the TV3 reality app and follow the prompt.
GMB 2022 shows Sundays at 8 p.m. and repeats Fridays at 3 p.m.
GMB 2022 is powered by Gino and sponsored by GTP, Airtel Tigo, Camel, Techno, Silver Star Auto, Heaven Black Mosquito Coil and Insecticide Spray, and Napa Foods. Frytop, supported by
The whole world stops and stares.
All right, so welcome back from the break. If you just tuned in, this is the ShowBiz conference, the maiden one, and we are live from Studio B Executive Theatre here at Desawe. My name is Nana Kwejuado, and of course, let me say a big thank you to 7 Energy Drink, as well as Danilex Travel and Tour for making it possible for us to be here. And this is the maiden one in partnership with Boomplay Ghana. Let me acknowledge a few people here who have just joined us as part of this conference. Of course, we're doing it for the industry, and so the whole value chain, the ecosystem, and the people who matter are here with us. Not everybody, but those who are here. Let's say welcome to Daddy Bosco, who is the special projects coordinator and manager for music. Please put your hands together for Daddy. Yes. Again, also to the acting musical president for Ghana right now, that Bessie Simons, sorry. Bessie Simons is here with us as well. Please put your hands together for him. We have Gas Miller in the building right now. Please put your hands together. Or Dakidi Ande, winner for TV3 Mentor 1 is here with us as well. We have Raskuku in the building. We have Daddy Opanka here. We have Article 1 here. Rasa Pia is here. A lot of people are in the building. I see the former Artwork president as well. Mr. William Esiru is here with us as well. Please put your hands together for him. All right. So before we went for the break, Mr. Bannerman was, about ethics and what to know, and right from the onset. Let me take your bite on that, Rudy.
So the thing about the word showbiz is actually an amalgam of two things: it's show and business. And in several countries out there, you can actually get a degree in music business, in film business, or in general entertainment business. And the thing that we need to understand is there are billion-dollar companies or multi-billion-dollar companies that actually drive entertainment that is built purely at the back of talents. So you must realize that as a talent, your ability to perform is like a knock in a door. It's just really that's going to get you, why come in? When you come in, that's when the business starts. So it is imperative for talents to understand that the ecosystem makes somebody money. You see, when you start out in whatever, whether it's film, whether it's music, the odds are against you. And let me tell you why. It's not even how great your mother says you can sing or how your friends think that you should be performing. That's all vibe. What is against you is that there's somebody that's built a 40-year system that knows how to make money. They've been making money since Yusundu, since Fela, since Bessa, and they're still there making money today. So those guys is 100-0 against you. Now you have to fight to come to 0 before you start to 1. And you only start to progress from 1 when you understand the business side of it. For my fans, it's a business. And that's where sometimes we leave on the table. And a business has certain peculiar things. I mean, look at TV3. They've been running content for years because they have a structure. There's a CEO, there are general managers. And TV3 is constantly changing its system. I hear of new announcements and new divisions because they're constantly adapting. I mean, we're here with 3 Entertainment. It didn't exist about 2 years ago. It didn't. When Nana joined, it didn't exist. Why? Because they realized that entertainment has grown from just being filler and part of a content play to some place. And I'm sure your finance has put a KPI on top. You have to bring some money to the table. That's why Liza is here. But check around most media houses. Most entertainment desks that used to be just places of publishing content or pushing shows are now P&L, profit and loss centers. You are supposed to go out there, partner people, generate revenue. It's the same thing for an artist. Your product is your artistry. Your product is your music. It's your talent but that thing needs to be passed through a system. When we were sitting here and Talia got a news quote, and it's called Indomie right now. It's business that made it Indomie. But it was Talia before. Macaroni. Yeah, macaroni, we were playing. But now, a business system has fashioned out a way and found a niche for it to become it's the same thing with your talent. Your product. And when you start out, you need to understand where you are. It's not for the fans. I'm soaking it for the fans. They're great. And the thing about the fans that you don't realize is the fans are the most disloyal people. Because the next guy comes, your fans are gone. Your fans are gone because the person comes with a superior product that is somehow refined and shaped. And so, therefore, we go. Kitty was in the wilderness for a minute until the link system productized him and put him out there. And we've seen people that have passed through the link system and still can't make it. They forget. What makes links is because Richie runs a business, not emotions, not for the fans. And that should be critical to all of us. At the end of the day, you have to understand what makes one CD for you and what doesn't make one CD for you. And where we can unlock yours. And the thing is, the ecosystem is big, like some numbers. Africa only has 55 million people who have signed up to stream and pay for streaming services. Liza's business is actually freemium. You stream, we sell ads on top of you. So people that have actually subscribed to paid platforms like Apple, Spotify, it's just 55 million, and we are 1.2 billion. So the growth rate, huge. But here's what 1.2 billion, here's what 55 million will generate by next year. Almost $300 million for talents. That's the value. So let's just say there are 300,000, or let's just say there are 3 million artists. Now let's do the math. I'm a math teacher, I die early. But you do the math. It's a business that they are running. And there's a choice for Boomplay to say, hey, our positioning is a freemium. You will get access to the content, but you streaming, you are the product. It's like Facebook, it's like Twitter. You don't have to sign up to actually pay a subscription to get it. You are the product. We sell advertising on top. Check Facebook's revenue, billions. It's the same thing that you need to approach your content, right, yourself, your business. You're not sure.
Thank you, Rudy. But since you mentioned links, let me move to Richie again. So we, like I said, we see a lot of these artists, young ones, and we have conversations with them. And you're talking about the business. So this is a young boy who is coming from somewhere in Bono region or Ashanti region, very great talent, amazing talent, but has no help, doesn't know what to do, where to start from, who to even talk to. Links is a business, you mentioned, but this boy is on his own. He's recorded 2 songs somewhere, and the songs are good. How does he start?
First thing first, you mentioned one of the words that I hate the most in my life.
Which is?
Help. Why are you looking for help? Who helps who in this world? Please understand something about the world. Every human being is 100% selfish. The only time somebody will help you is if it benefits them. Am I wrong? A husband...
You're exchanging your talent to TV3,
yes,
for a monthly paycheck.
Yes. A husband will help his wife for peace at home. And
other things. Extra benefit.
So the first failure for most new artists, for most underground artists, is they walk up to executive producer, record label, and say, hi, I'm talented, help me. Why? It's a business proposal. The same way you walk into a bank, you go with the business plan, you go with collateral, you go with something to let the bank know that if I take this $100,000, I'm going to make back $300,000 over 4 years. So I'll do a payment plan. By the time I'm done, in 2 years, you would have doubled your investment in me. That's the same way you go to an executive producer or you go to a record label. You let them understand that based on my style of music, then you prove that with your talent. You let them know the possible fan base you can have. You let them know your USP, your unique selling point. What makes you stand out, that the person can fashion and push you to become a viable product. You don't go and say, I can sing, help me. Because if right now, I posted on Facebook or on IG, Links wants to help someone who can sing. Can you imagine the number of messages that I will get? So it doesn't work like that. We need to, okay, see, there's the show, there's the business. The artist's job is 2 things, only 2 things. 70% of that is to hone your craft so that you can make sure the show part is perfect, from Whether you're a singer or a rapper, hone that. Your performance ability, how you interact with people, your interview skills, or anything to do with your craft, hone that. The other 30% is to understand the business part enough to even know who to select for your business part. This is very, very important. Now, people come to me sometimes and they say that, I want to, sign me. I want you to sign me. Then I ask them a question. Okay, what do you want from me? What do you expect from me? And they go, oh, my boss, I reach you. Anything you go do for me, I go take. I tell them, no, that's not it. What are you expecting? Like, most artists don't understand the fact that it takes about 2 to 3 years. That's when you're very successful to break an artist into the industry. So maybe somebody is coming to Links and they think that Richie signed me in January. So by April, I'm playing O2. Most people don't understand how long it takes for the DSPs to recognize you. Like, they spoke about playlisting earlier here. You are a new artist. You won't get playlisted for at least 1.5 years. They will tell you that they will put you on New Music Daily once. If you are lucky. That one is with strong connections.
And even that, Richie, there's a reason why it happens that way. So there's something in technology called A/B testing. Yeah. When you're putting New Music Daily, they're actually watching numbers. Mm-hmm. What do you attract? Where is your traffic emanating from? So as soon as they put all of that together, the algorithm would distill it and say, okay, there is some interest of this talent with this style. Yeah. And let's look at similar artists and how they've performed. So they go back in data, look at it, and then that's when this decision is made whether, okay, let's put him next, the next step. And every other thing you do is factored in. Your posts, your reactions, how your engagement and your reach on social is actually all factored in before that decision is made.
Yeah. So as an artist, you need to understand enough to be able to employ or join a team that understands even more than you, to be able to push. You know, like I took a step back from active music because I realized I had to be that person who knew more than the artist, and I couldn't do that as the artist. So I had to get knowledgeable. And to every manager out there, everybody in a label service or anything, you need to understand that that's something you should be proud of, that you are learning every day. As I sit here, every month, I'm on a new course. Like when he mentioned YouTube and Coursera, I was so happy. I remember, I'm not old though. When I say back in the days, cool down. But I remember back in the days when you wanted to learn something, you had to go and buy an encyclopedia. Yeah. Then, go and sit in the library. I actually, in the year 2000, when I finished JSS, I went to pay to go and learn Microsoft Word, Excel. I had to go and sit down for computer classes. Right now, you go on TikTok and they are doing tutorials. Forget YouTube. They are doing tutorials on TikTok. You want to learn Photoshop. There are Photoshop tutorials on IG. So what excuse do we have for not knowing? You go on IG right now and they are showing you how to get playlisted, how to get Spotify views, how to get Boomplay to prioritize your music. All these things are out there. So we are past the point where you have an excuse of, I don't know anybody, I'm not connected, blah, blah, blah. We are in an industry and a world where you just need to educate yourself and push and understand what you're doing. But one last important thing, especially for artists, there's something we need to take out of our mentality, especially Ghanaians, I'm sorry. Entitlement. We feel so entitled. Am I wrong?
You are right.
Every artist is sitting out there and, why aren't you streaming my music? Why aren't they playing our music more? Why is it always about what they aren't doing? Why aren't you doing enough to get your music heard? How many times have you promoted your music? And it's gone from the days where to promote your music, to get to Navrongo, you have to take a car, go to Navrongo, talk to a DJ, and maybe sort out something small before you go play. Right now, you can do a TikTok video, and it's going to get 100,000 of views. Kiddies Touch It. You saw that Kiddies Touch It went platinum in India, right? Mm-hmm. Has Kiddy ever been to India? Has anybody from Links ever been to India? Here's the funny thing. We never, and I can say this categorically here, we never promoted in India. And we didn't even see India coming, because do you know why? We concentrated our social media promotion on TikTok, Trailer, IG, the usual. And TikTok doesn't even exist in India. And then somebody from India who was popular saw it somewhere and went to do an IG reel. And suddenly they picked it up. So it caught us by surprise. So what excuse do you have now? Anybody who says things like, they are not promoting my music, you're just, I'm sorry, again, I'm being too frank, you're being lazy. Push. Keep pushing. If your management isn't pushing you hard enough, tell your management that they should come to these seminars. They should come and learn. They should call people. They should ask. Because here's the funny thing about the industry. We are all talkatives. If you come and sit with me for 10 minutes, I will give you all the knowledge you need in life. And all of us are like that. If you don't have the knowledge, it means you've not tried to get it. That's all.
Thank you so much, Richie. Please put your hands together for him. Victor, okay, I'll come to you, Liza, but Victor, what would you want to say again?
Just very quickly, I think it's also a little unfair for us not to point out one glaring thing for me. The reality, though, in all of these wonderful things that we're sharing, is that because of all this access, your competition pool is also much
bigger.
Yeah.
And you need to remember that. So the other thing I'm going to throw out there is that ask yourself this as an artist, right? Is this really your calling?
Please, let's clap for it.
Wow. Is this your calling?
That's brutal honesty.
Yeah, I want to say something on what he just said.
Okay.
You know, the comment he just made, that is this your calling? Most artists would take that as, are you talented enough? That's not what he means. Can you be consistent enough? Are you psychologically strong enough for this? Are you okay that when your song finally starts doing well, okay, Kiddy, do you know the first time Kiddy trended on Twitter? Do you know what he trended for? They said that the jacket he wore to VGMA was for his father because it was too big. Wow. That's when Kiddy trended on Twitter for the first time. Not because his music was nice, not because of his voice, but because they say, hey, Kiddy go wear a poppy in jacket.
Right.
I remember Miss V's first VGMA nomination. She got 7 nominations, right? And by the time they had announced 6 of her nominations, she hadn't won any. Then somebody tweeted, be like this year, Miss V go win Afro Comb of the Year. Are you psychologically strong enough for this? Do you know what it takes to actually get there? And when you finally think getting there is a good thing, you are getting trolled, attacked, people are crushing your spirit. Okay. If not, Charlie,
all right, so
you know, just the same. I just wanted to talk around what Richie talked about. There's something also artists have seen, and if it's actually across the creative stream, we think somebody called gatekeeper has a power.
Okay.
I'm here to tell you it is not true. See, the folks at TV3 are powerful people because they have microphones. But I can tell you that I've never made a talent roster or lineup for any show because I got a call from them. It will be decided on a certain merit and a certain scale. Yeah. And remember, when they put you up for the show, this is what has happened. They've probably seen that you will be beneficial to them putting you on TV rather than some guy making a call for you. So that supposed gatekeeper is really just somebody that walks you from, it's like an introduction. You want to talk to Richie, you reach me, I'll give you Richie's number. I'll probably phone and say, hey, Richie, this person will call you. My call may get you 5 minutes, but you have to sell yourself to Richie. Don't make it my problem that, oh, I took you to Richie, so therefore I have to deliver Richie. It's not possible.
All right, thank you so much, Rudy. And of course, it's just 3 minutes to midday, so there's going to be the midday news. However, we know there are viewers across the divide. We have not closed. We're still going to be here. The program is on for the next 30 minutes, and then we'll wrap up officially. And then, of course, we're going to have a playback on TV later on in the week. But there's one question that I want to allow, and that's coming from Mr. William Esiedu before he leaves. And are you ready? Okay, so in the meantime, let me say a big thank you to Daniel X Travel and Tour, making it possible, of course, to 7 Energy Drink, super energy drink for all day. I'm sure you are grabbing yourself a can already, and then you can go through the day with it. Make sure you follow them and get all you need. All right, so William, let's hear you.
Good morning once again. My question has to do with something that Liza, is it Liza or Liza?
Liza.
She said we're consuming news during COVID. Then Mr. Chade, is it? Chade said what you put out is what we get. Now we're here. I'm suspecting that there are journalists among us, there are bloggers among us who are going to write for the rest of the world to consume. Now the question I'm asking is, what are we also doing about the showbiz writers over the years? Because, for instance, there was a church that was commissioned on the Spintex Road last week. Then some of the pastors, come in, and the blogger writes, so and so arrived at the decimation of a new church. And I'm saying, look at this. Look at this. He has written decimation when you have to write dedication. And nobody spoke about it. I have about 300 screenshots of what we as bloggers and journalists are doing so wrongly about the industry. And I'm saying that people are reading. So whilst we are doing this, the ecosystem that we talk about, where do we put the bloggers, the journalists, and the writers? It looks like everybody is talking about everything but us. And as a news person, it worries me, because if I'm sitting here after 25 years and I'm thinking about digital writing, what are we doing about the current ones who were not born into social media, but social media was born onto them? I was lucky to have been born into journalism, so I was forced to go to GIG and learn, and now I'm a journalist. But these are individuals who just arrived, and social media was born onto them. They have no training, they have nothing, and we are just looking on. And it's worrying me, because at the end of the day, if we just go to assignment, somebody will come here